Welcome back, everybody. I wanted to talk about this today because it seems YouTube will be changing. And in addition to that, Google is in some serious hot water right now. Now, I know and understand that a lot of you may be confused and not fully in the loop about this, but while I was browsing my feed this morning, I had this come up. Now, this is from PC Gamer. I've gotten a lot of accurate information from them before, but earlier this week it was reported that the U.S. Department of Justice's officials would likely ask a judge to enforce a significant breakup of Google, in part proposing that Chrome be sold off. Now, this is actually really big, because if Google is being forced to sell Chrome off, that means it's going to have a major impact on YouTube as well, because they use the same search engine. As of Wednesday night, the official paperwork has since been filed, and we can now see that the authorities' plan is even further reaching than initially suggested. Now, that alone is very indicative that there's other issues that the Crown has found within Google's practices, within Google's conduct. But I'm going to continue through this article and then give you my thoughts and show you a little bit of something else that YouTube has been doing recently that they just don't want to be held accountable for. Though you won't see me shedding a tear if this breakup ever comes to pass. Not only will a judge be asked to enforce Google's sale of Chrome, but the filing made to a Washington federal court also outlines that following its divestiture of Chrome, Google may not re-enter the browser market for 5 years via The Guardian. That came from The Guardian, and again, they are another credible source. The proposal also calls for Google to be prohibited from acquiring any interests in search rivals, potential entrants, and rival search or search ads related AI products. Now, I personally have an issue with AI being part of the Google system, mainly because it makes being a creator that much more difficult, because so many people are using it to generate fake content that they post, get big really quick, and put next to no effort in. But it takes some videos, for me personally, it will take me 2 to 3 days just to edit, where AI can have it done like that, and that it must let go of any it already holds in its clutch. Furthermore, the documents additionally call for a halt to all anti-competitive payments to distributors, including Apple, that are made to ensure Google is the default search engine on various companies' devices. Now, that's pretty big as well, because what that says is that, say, if you have an iOS or Android phone, typically your default search engine is going to be Google. And with this coming out, indicating that Google has been paying off Android and iOS companies to have their search engine used as default, is very shady and very, I'm just trying to think of correct terminology and think of the right way to express this. It's very, like, it sits wrong with me, basically, because it kind of says that Google is trying to be the top leading and monopolize everything under the sun, which that alone can be a massive issue. But continuing on, speaking of AI, the DOJ's proposal also recommends that Google offer data crawling rights to parties such as content creators, so that they can choose to opt out of, say, Google using its work to train its large language model AI. That basically means that us content creators can opt out of Google using its AI to manipulate our system, our videos, and their internal systems, which is massive information and massive news, because it basically says that they can't use AI to generate suggested videos anymore. They can't use AI to generate what you see on your homepage anymore, because it's right there that large language model AI, which is what the Google search engine is. But I'm going to continue on, setting to one side the fact that I, as a person who is infrequently funny on the internet, would personally very much not like to see my words regurgitated by AI. Anyone who's recently had to wade through search results flooded with AI dross can see this is a step in the right direction if it's enforced. To recap, this is the result of a major court ruling back in August that found that Google had acted illegally to maintain its monopoly over online search and the advertising markets closely intertwined therein. In October, which is last month because it's November, in October, news began to percolate about which remedies the U.S. Department of Justice would seek, with its sights set on Android and Chrome for the part these areas of the business played in unfairly prioritizing Google search and related products. The DOJ's proposal are being brought before the same judge who made that heavy-hitting ruling back in August. I apologize if I butcher this. Amit Mehta, I think I pronounced his last name right. Apologies if I didn't. Though we won't know which course of action he'll pursue before something next year. Until then, it's hard to say with certainty how this will affect typical end users, especially as Google has yet to put forward its own counterproposal. Wednesday's federal filing reveals that Android is still part of the DOJ's contingency plan. The filing identifies Android as a critical platform on which search competitors rely and for which Google has myriad obvious and not so obvious ways to favor its own search products. Therefore, two plans are proposed. One, either Google also divests itself of Android alongside Chrome, or two, selling off Android becomes a last resort depending on its earlier efforts ultimately fail to rein in Google's monopoly. Again, there's more context for you about Google trying to illegally monopolize everything under the sun. In response so far, Google has been thrashing around like a dragon, reluctant to part with its hoard. What a surprise. All they want to do is line their pockets thicker with money from ads and everything else. In a recent blog post, Google framed the DOJ's proposed remedies as a radical interventionist agenda that would harm America's global technology leadership. Last I checked, it wasn't America who is the technology leader, it was Japan. Kent Walker, the president of global affairs at Google and its parent company Alphabet, goes on to write, "It would break a range of Google products even beyond search that people love and find helpful in their everyday lives." Now, that right there says the impact and implications it would have on YouTube. This is big, everybody. This is beyond massive. This could change the game. This could change how you have to upload content. This could change YouTube altogether. We may lose YouTube from this. The most obvious point of historical comparison would be United States versus Microsoft Corp back in 2001. The DOJ tried to split Microsoft up due to its hold over the web browser market on Windows machines. Though this case ultimately resulted in a settlement, with that in mind, it's hard to know just how far the DOJ will go this time. And that's the end of that. But this is massive, and I know I'm repeating myself again with that, but this implies that there's further issues, and once a very thorough internal investigation begins to happen by a third party or external party that the DOJ has picked, because Google's not going to be allowed to pick someone to do that. It's going to be the DOJ picking. But they are probably and more than likely going to end up finding internal system manipulation issues as well. Now, I actually have a bit of evidence behind that statement. I have my video analytics for my recent video of the Akigahara forest dirt that I received. And if you look here, it says I've received 20 views in the past 2 to 3 days. But if I go over to my audience, it says I haven't gotten anything. Now, it says I've gotten 17 unique views, but that's this graph. I'm in the returning viewers graph. And the returning viewers graph shows new users and returning viewers. Now, why is this such an issue? This is not such an issue because, one, I don't get the information I need to know how to proceed with my channel. Two, this is Google and YouTube controlling and manipulating an internal system. If I can't get this information when it's supposed to be readily available for me, someone at YouTube is controlling the system and controlling what information I get on my end as a creator. This is a massive issue because, again, if I can't get this information when it's supposed to be readily available to me, that implies that YouTube does not want to be held accountable, that Google does not want to be held accountable for their internal system manipulation. I have spoken out about this very much publicly over on X. If you don't follow me there, go follow me on X. But this is such a big issue now that Google themselves are in such hot water that, like, we could be losing YouTube altogether. We could be losing Google search engine altogether. And the biggest thing about losing Google search engine is that the suggested videos are run through Google search engine. YouTube suggested is run through Google search engine. It's the exact same search engine that is used. So when those issues are here and YouTube, and the Supreme Court is saying to Google, you can't do this, and we're going to end up finding more, that implies and leads to the assumption that there will likely be other issues found. It may, like I said, they may find further evidence that I don't even know about or have on my hands that, yes, YouTube and Google have in fact been doing internal system manipulation. If they want to try and revert this and fix this, the only thing that's really going to happen is YouTube is going to become a much fairer system. It's not going to be number driven. It's going to be who's interested in what. If you like paranormal, that's what you're going to be suggested. If you like gaming, that's what you're going to be suggested. And it's not going to matter how big the channel is, how many views it's gotten, how many likes it's gotten. It's just going to matter what you're watching. But I've rambled on and I've kind of ranted about this now. So I'm going to call it here, everybody. If you enjoyed, please go down, hit that subscribe button. I will be following this story very, very closely. And because of the implications it has on YouTube, not only my channel, but everybody else's channel, I am very passionate about creating videos. I want to be a creator. I want to be successful, but outside of that, I want to be a producer. I want to be able to produce videos. And not just YouTube videos. I want to actually produce horror videos because I love horror. But again, until next time, everyone, I will see you all again later. Goodbye.